Hi guys, Chris here, and you are watching Here We Are Running. And in this video, I'm going to talk about what I've learnt most from running in 2018. But before we get onto the main topic of this video, I managed to pick up a bit of a bargain in the Black Friday sales. Yeah, so now I've got myself a Canon EOS M50. So this camera is supposed to be really good for both taking photos and taking video. So I'm really looking forward to using it in my future videos on this channel. For you, the viewer, that should mean some improved content coming your way. And for me, it should allow me to explore further my two hobbies of both running and making videos. But let's get on now to the main topic of this video. And I wanted to have a bit of a discussion video around what I've learned most about running in 2018. And I'm sure, like you guys, you've probably learned lots. Running's a journey, and you learn every time you go out for a run, every time you do a race. You're always learning with running. But I've narrowed it down to the one thing that I think in 2018 I've learned the most about in running. And that is pacing and getting the pace right in order to get your goals in your races. And if I look back a couple of years when I first started running, pacing was not something I did right at all, to be honest. I used to go out quite hard, and then I used to try and hold on. And when I was doing my sort of 5k park runs when I first started running, that was exactly the tactic that I used. And yeah, it worked a little bit, but it didn't feel good for that second half of the run. And yeah, it wasn't something that was going to help me really improve. If I look back at all the races I've done this year, where I've got the pacing right, I've come out with a good result. And where I didn't get the pacing right, yeah, things didn't go quite according to plan. And I'll give you a couple of examples of that. So the first one was where I did my fastest ever half marathon, and that was earlier in the year at the Surrey half. I'll put a link to the video up there if you haven't seen it already. And I was going for a sub 1 hour 40 in that half marathon. And it was one of my goals for this year as well. So I decided that the best way to do that was stick with the pacer. They had pacers at that half marathon, and they often do various different times. So 1 hour 40 is a common time that you'll get a pacer pacing. And yeah, in my case, that was what happened. So myself and Paul, we went out and stuck with the 1 hour 40 pacer, and it worked out fine. It worked out well. It was tough. It was tough to hold on at the end there, but you know, when you've got the encouragement of a pacer going along with you, encouraging all the way, that really helped. So we stuck with a very even pace throughout that race and ended up finishing it in 1 hour 39 minutes. So really happy with the result that came out of that one. Another example, moving forward to when I did my first marathon. Now then I hadn't really got the tactics quite right, I don't think. So I was going for a sub 3 hours and 45 minute marathon in Brighton. Again, put a link up above if you want to have a look at that video. And I decided for that one, I was going to set out faster than the average pace that I needed to get my goal time. So I went well out ahead of the 3 hours 45 pacers. It was about 3 minutes ahead of that at the halfway mark, and then it hit me. I had definitely gone out too fast, and I really struggled for the second half of that marathon, and ended up coming in 3 hours 56 minutes, I think it was, which was still happy time for me to get there, but it just showed me that, you know, I had gone out too quick to begin with, and I couldn't hold on. And really, what I've learned this year is you need to go out and try and keep it even, or even try to do a negative split. So run the second half of your race faster than the first half. But if you can't do that, then at least keep it pretty even all the way along. But then fast forward to the autumn, and I was taking part in the Run Reigate half marathon. Now again, I thought I'd try and go sub 140, or maybe go for 1 hour 41 minutes, something like that, similar to the time I had done the previous year. I decided then again to go out with the 1 hour 40 pacer, and I stayed with them for the first half of that race. But obviously my levels of fitness at that time weren't up for it. I couldn't hold on, and again I really suffered in the second half of that race, and even ended up walking parts of it, which I hadn't done in a half marathon before that one. So even though I was trying to be sensible and get an even pace going in that one, I had just picked a pace that on the day I wasn't able to keep to and stick to. So up until that point in time, I had been using a virtual pacer on my watch. So I've got a Garmin Forerunner 235, which actually doesn't have a built-in virtual pacer, but there is an IQ app. I'll put a link below on the one that I use. There's probably several different ones, but the one I use allows you to program in the distance and the time that you want to achieve for that distance, and then it will keep track of your pace, and it will tell you if you're ahead of it, behind it, and some other sort of information that's quite useful. So I was using that in my races, where I had set a goal time and could use it to see whether I was in line with that or not. That's what I was using up until sort of late autumn this year. And then you probably saw from some of my earlier videos. If you haven't, I'll put a link to the park run where I've achieved my best ever park run time. And I was using just the normal watch, but putting the average lap pace as the main item that I saw on the watch when I looked at it. So this will keep, for each kilometre, for each mile, it will just keep track of what your average pace is at that point in time for that kilometre or mile, or whatever you have the split set to. And I found that really good, because if I knew what I needed to achieve as an average pace, then by just glancing at it, I could see whether I was in and around where I should be. It really found that helpful, and that is what helped me achieve my parkrun PB back earlier in November. So that, a combination of that and then the virtual pacer, I think has really helped me to keep track of my pace and to make sure that when I'm doing my runs, I'm stick to a pace and don't try and go way ahead of that or way behind that. So guys, that is what I think I've learned most about running in 2018. It is all about the pacing. If you want to achieve that goal time, you've got to pace it right. So guys, I love to hear from you about what you've learned most from running in 2018. So do please put a comment below, let me know. It'd be really interesting to hear that. And guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, do please hit the like button. And yeah, if you're new to my channel, why not consider subscribing? But for now guys, thanks very much for watching. Goodbye.